What up, guys? So I just took all the plugs out because I was kind of having a feeling that one of them was leaking because like warm start, cold start, sometimes when the idle would start dropping, I would get a couple of pops. I'll put it right here. Yeah, so as you can see, like I was having a feeling that it was either like a leak somewhere, an air leak, like a vacuum leak, but I wasn't losing any boost at all. And then my only other thought was these are very old injectors. They are the Index 6s, I believe. And then I already had two fail on me, or one fail on me. So I put a 9 in there. I was able to snag a deal locally. I got like 3 used injectors for like $100. So I just needed those. Those held me down for the past 6 months. But I think 4 of these have the original 145,000 miles I'm at right now. So I just took the plugs out. This is 1 going to 6. So 1 to 3 look good. They look okay. No leaking. And then you get to 4, and clearly this plug has been fouling, and it definitely smells like E40, like E85. So I'm glad that I was able to check the plugs tonight because it's not so bad to the point where I was getting misfires, but this, I definitely don't want to drive it until I get my new injectors in, which I just got in, by the way. I got in new Index 12s. I just want to check this plug too. This one's weird. This was the cylinder 6. No leakage, but it was just, I don't know if that's like water spots that might have gone down there. But it's like goldish on one side, so I don't know. If anyone knows what that means, please let me know in the comments. I've never seen that, but it is different from these ones. Anyways, I was able to get a good, or not even good, a great deal on Index 12. Some guy on eBay had them listed for like $1,600 for a brand new set of 6 BMW OEM ones, and I just lowballed the fuck out of them, and I was like $1,000, you know, is all I have right now. So if you want it, let's do the deal. And you know, he somehow was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And you know, I was like, hell yeah. And I didn't even know if I needed new injectors. This was just based off of the feeling that even if I didn't have any leaking injectors currently, like it is winter right now, so I haven't really been ripping it. I've only been driving it as a commute for like 2,000 to 3,000 miles so far. And I'm not really full throttling at all. I'm just maybe here and there going like 4K, 5K RPM. But my feeling was that, you know, once it gets warmer and I throw back on the TEs, if you guys didn't know, these are my winter wheels. They are the 641 F80 factory winter wheel and tire set with the Conti Winters. 255/35 squared. I think the fronts are 19 by 8.5 and the rears are 19 by 9.5. They're okay. They do their job for winter tires. You know, I'm not really pushing it crazy, but if you guys didn't know, these are my summer sets, my babies, my diamond silver TEs. I'm running a stagger setup on these. These are an 18 by 10 in the rear with a 265/35 18, and in the front I got two 45/35s. These, I'm curious to see how they do because I only ran them when I had upgraded twins, and then the whole single turbo project went on in the winter. So I'm curious to see how these will hook. Worst case is I'll have to buy a drag pack or try and fit like a 275/40 back there. But these are PS4s, so I think they'll do all right. You know, I'm not really one to be driving like recklessly. I just like to do pulls here and there, you know, in the summer on the highway. But yeah, so that's just basically an update right now. So once I get my decouplers in, I just ordered those, so those should come in sometime this week. Then I'll be able to get the injectors in. I'll do a video on that. and then gotta code them in, and then that should be good. And I shouldn't have any more hiccups at idle. Hopefully it'll run smoother. And another thing is that when I was tuning this car, so I'm tuned by CD919 on an E40 blend currently, and I was maxing out my high pressure fuel pump, or I am maxing out my high pressure fuel pump on E40 at a measly like 17 and a half pounds of boost. And I asked him if that was normal, and he was pretty much like, no, my average customer sees 20 PSI. So he was like, it might be your high pressure fuel pump. It might be on its way out. It might just be weak. Even though it was replaced 3 years ago, you know, a lot of ethanol goes through it. It shortens the lifespan of it. So I picked up a new one from the dealership and installed it. And he said, basically no difference. And I do have a stage 3 low pressure with dual 450s, and then the pressure switch from Precision. So I know it's not my low pressure, and my low pressure rail is good. My rail pressure is fine. I'm just wondering if maybe because that one might have been leaking slightly, or something because the injectors are high mileage, that maybe that's the reason why I'm not getting an extra 2 pounds of boost. Or maybe I am just making that good of power on the Gen 2 6466. I'm not too sure. But I'm very, very happy. So if anyone is curious, if you have a leaking injector, this is what it'll look like. Oh, let's see if it'll focus. Let's see. My bad, y'all. What the fuck? Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. But yeah, so it's pretty fouled out. It'll have like a black tip like that. So basically, this plug has been running rich. And what happens is when you turn the car off, fuel will leak through the injector because obviously it is leaking. And it'll leak into the cylinder walls, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so when you go back to start the car up again, all that unburned fuel that leaked into the cylinder will basically combust, essentially, and then create like a popping noise, which is what I'm hearing right now. And it's not too bad if you get misfires or whatnot. The worst case that I've seen, I know this happened to N54, not N54 God, but whatever the fuck his name is. He's in Jersey too. But he blew his engine because he had 2 leaking injectors, and those 2 cylinders, basically, those pistons and rods went kaput. So what can also happen is the fuel can go leak down into your oil, and then it can dilute the oil, so the viscosity will be a lot thinner, your car will run hotter, and then you'll spin a bearing. I've also heard horror stories like that too. So this is like a PSA, please check your injectors, especially if you have a high mileage. This is an 08 with original 145,000 miles on the engine. So it's been due. Honestly, I'm surprised that they've lasted this long. So I'm glad I got a good steal for injector 12s or index 12s. And I'm gonna throw these back in for now because I gotta move this out of the garage. Probably leave it on the street. Probably will, now that I know I'm leaking, I'm probably not gonna drive it. Just so I know and not take any risks. Maybe just to the gym, that's it. But yeah, catch you guys when we install the new injectors.